Welcome, everyone, to a marvelous Math Monday. Get excited. We're on to another week. This week, we're going to start with my favorite. I see ice cream on that page. I'd like you to go ahead, and if you could turn to page 573. We are going to go ahead on Lesson 8 and analyze line plots. But before we get started, we have to start. I think it'd be appropriate to have an ice cream joke. So, my first joke for today is this. Why does everyone invite ice cream to a party? Because it's cool. All right, let's see if we can find another ice cream joke. Why is the ice cream so bad at tennis? They have a soft serve. How about one more? Because I like ice cream. How about, how is ice cream? How is ice cream as a girlfriend? They're the sweetest. All right. On that note, my favorite ice cream, by the way, would probably be Moose Tracks. So Mr. Swint might have to take me to the Mr. Freeze or to the Dairy Queen sometime later on today. Today, let's get started. So we're going to analyze some line plots. I'm going to ask 10 of my students how many times a week they eat dessert. So let me go ahead and I'm going to start out with Lily. Lily, how many times would you say you eat dessert in a week? So we're talking 7 days in a week. How many times do you eat dessert? 5 times. All right. Remember line plots. We have to use X's. So I'm going to go ahead here and Lily, I'm going to put an X because you eat desserts 5 times a week. Let's go ahead and ask Julia. Julia, how many times a week do you eat desserts? Oh, every day, Mrs. Swin. So Julia, you're a girl out of my own heart. I always have to have my sweet for the day. You have seven desserts in a week. How about my friend then, Emilia? Emilia, what would you say as far as how many times you eat desserts? Oh, you don't have a sweet tooth? You only have 3. Okay. All right, let's go ahead with Stella. Stella, how about you? 4? All right, Stella, we'll mark it down. Notice how my X's, I try to make them all uniform so they're all the same size. How about my friend Colton? What do you think? How many? Oh, about 5 also, Colton. All right, we'll mark it down. All right, let's get my friend Elliot. Elliot, how many times do you have desserts? Oh, okay. Elliot said he's about 5 also, Mrs. Swint. How about my friend Pearson? Pearson, how many desserts? Oh, you like your desserts too, but you said 6. Okay. All right. How about, let's see. We've got so far, how many people did we survey? Let's count the X's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need 3 more people. So let's ask our set friend Farron. Farron, how many desserts? 4. All right. How about my friend Presley? Presley, what do you think? Oh, Presley says, Mrs. Swant, I love dessert with like every meal. I do at least 8. How about my friend Irene? Irene, how many desserts would you say? Irene said 6. All right. So looking at my line plot and analyzing it, meaning I look at the data and I decide what I'm going to go ahead and how I'm going to understand it. It shows me that the most popular or the most times that anybody eats desserts would be 5 times. So I'm going to write the number 5 here. If I said, if I needed to ask another question in regards to this line plot, and I would say, how many people like 4 or 6 desserts a week? you would count the number of people. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I said, how many people did I survey total? Again, you'd count the number of X's. All right, let's go to the next page. On the next page, we are going to go ahead and we are going to use the data from a line plot to answer the questions. It says this line plot shows the number of students in each class at a school. So the top says number of students. The number of students is represented by the number line going from 15 to 25. If I look at the number of students, it says in this class, there are 3 classes that have 20 students. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 classes with 21 students. And I'm sorry, there were 3 classes with 20. And there's only 1 class that had 22 students. If we would add our class, we would be putting an X right here by 17. That's how many people we have in our class. Now the question here is how many students are in most of the classes. So I need to take a look here at the most. And the most would be right here, 21. And they give us that answer of 21. Using the data from the line plot to answer the questions. Number 1, how many students have 2 hats? I'm looking at this particular line plot, friends, and I need to figure out how many students have 2 hats. That's my question. So I take a look. The number of hats is listed on the number line. Either you have 0 hats or the total maximum number would be 5 hats. I need to know how many students have 2 hats. I look at the number 2 and I count my number of votes, my number of students. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's look at number 2. How many students have just 1 hat? So take a look at your graph, your line plot. I take a look at what they're asking me for, just 1 hat. And I will go ahead and I count 1, 2, 3. There's 3 students. How many students have 3 hats? All right. Take a look at the number of hats again. 3 hats. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 students that have 3 hats. The next question is this. How many students have more than 2 hats? So I need to know how many have more than, greater than 2. So at that point, I need to analyze this chart a little differently. I know that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 students that had 2. But the question is, how many have more than 2? So I will divide. I'm going to take a look right here. And I need to count how many students have more than 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Students, there are 7 students that would have more than 2. Make sure you answer the question that they are asking. So always double check. How are line plots the same or different than a bar graph or picture graph? Well, they're all analyzing data. All of them are surveys. We talked about bar graphs are bars. We talked about picture graphs are simply pictures. We know, and they don't have a marked here, a tally graph has the tallies and totals. A line plot uses X's to represent each vote. Let's turn the page. On the next page, you will go ahead and it's your independent practice. Use the data from the line plot to answer the questions. You're going to take a look at this line plot, and that is how you're going to analyze it to answer your questions. Now, most of them are pretty straightforward. Remember, down below here, this is the number of vegetables. Okay. Make sure, couple questions on number 9, don't get thrown by it. The question is simply this: how many students were surveyed? Well, you know how to figure that out because you know each X represents a student. So you simply need to count how many votes and how many students like more than one vegetable. Again, remember what we did back in the previous page. Mrs. Swint said more than. Well, this was more than 2, so I put a box around everything, or you could put a circle around everything that's more than what they're asking for. In this case, they're asking how many vegetables were more than 1. So I would want to go ahead and it's more than 1. So I'm going to create my box probably right there after everything more than 1. All right. On the next page, you have your brain builders. Let's make sure they're not trying to stump you. Problem solving. Finish the line plot for Ashley. She needs to show that 3 friends each have 2 toy bears. My number of bears are here. And what they're asking me to do is simply this: show that 3 friends have 2 toy bears. So I have to do something right here in that column with the number 2. You know what to do. Brain builders. 23 students created this line plot to show how many fruits each student likes. 6 students like the same number of fruit. How many fruits does each of these or those 6 students like? All right, so we're taking a look at the graph. The question is, I need to underline how many, or actually circle, how many fruits does each of those 6 students like? All right, so you need to figure out where there are 6 votes and then how many fruits that those 6 votes are under. I'm not going to tell you anymore. You got it. Colton. Colton looks at the line plot above and says 1 student likes 3 fruits. Tell why he's wrong and make it right. Oh, Colton, this one's for you. You've got it, sir. Take a look. I know you'd never say this because you'd have it right away. So the line plot he's saying is that 1 student likes 3 fruits. The hint. Remember, each X represents a student, not the fruit. All right. On the next page, you have your homework for today. So go ahead. It's pretty straightforward. If you have questions in your homework, remember, go back in your packet. We've done everything generally that you will need to know for your homework. So never get stumped up. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow, friends. Bye-bye.